This is the Stockwell Eldridge Show, giving you the real-time information you need to make educated decisions about buying and selling in the world-renowned Twin Cities. Now your hosts and real estate experts, Jason Stockwell and Don Eldridge.
Good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul. You're listening to the Stockwell Eldridge Show every Sunday, 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. And I'm Jason Stockwell with Remax Results.
And I'm Don Eldridge with Remax Results. Thanks for listening.
Yes, we got a great show, and you can check us out on YouTube. I always say that during the show, but we have YouTube on every show, and you can see that on Facebook, on our Facebook page. We have a great show today. We have Stephanie Havel here with Wells Fargo. Welcome, Stephanie.
Thank you. I was going to say, it's always great when I'm here, so great to be here.
Yes, it's wonderful. And we have back, so we did a live show a while back.
Mother's
for our
Day.
loyal listeners, we did a live show on Mother's Day at the Convention Center. We had Nate Nelson there, and we were talking about estate planning and prints and wills and directives and all those things. Nate Nelson is back. He is with Messerly and Kramer. Is that correct?
Yes, Jason, it's a pleasure to be here today. Hi, Don.
Hi. Thanks for coming.
I just want to make sure my pronunciation is correct. That was all. But I'm great at that. But. So, Nate, you're attorney there. Is that right? And shareholder?
That's correct. I'm in the business and finance group. I do estate planning, and I buy, sell, merge, destroy, and create companies.
Oh, destroy.
Wow.
I like that.
That sounds
Merge and
powerful.
destroy.
Sometimes we got to get out of the deal.
I like it. Cool. So we're going to be talking today about, and Nate's going to be sharing a lot of information about this, about what we can do with LLCs when you need one, when you need a management company, what insurance you need, what type of leases you need. I'm going through a lot of this personally right now, and as you grow your portfolio in real estate, or you're doing building, or you're doing rentals, it can get very tricky because you're not protected, and you're in one. If everything is in one company or in one name, then everything that company or that name holds is subject to lawsuit or liability, and it's so it can be very complicated as you go. But it's probably easier to do it as you go than it is to try to correct it. I'm in the process of correcting it, which is much, much harder. So anyway, we'll be talking a lot about that. So first, wealth. It's a lot about wealth and wealth management. So market update from Dawn. What's happening in the real estate market?
All right. Well, we saw a change in new listings of up 1.1%, and a change in closed sales is actually up 5.3%. There is a 5.7% increase in median sales price. So the median sale price went from $224 of May 2015 last year, and now we are at $236,826, which is good news for everybody, I think.
Every realtor I talk to says they're busy. They've had their best month. June is one of their best months. It historically is a great month. Existing home sales reach highest pace in over 9 years. That's a good sign for everybody in selling their house. But however, 85% of people are staying put. They have not moved, are not planning on moving. So many people are staying put. We talked about in the last show with Marshall about how people are staying put because they have nowhere to go. They may not know what they want to move to or where they want to move to, or there may not be a home available.
New construction, we got to get those builders out there. Because I was going to say, I mean, and I think, what was it? We had the bow tie and the everyday economist on.
Yes.
And talking about the Fed rate changes and all that kind of stuff. And, didn't really have any impact on interest rates. And our pre-approvals that we have right now at Wells Fargo are at an all-time high. It is crazy how many people are just coming in anxious, ready to buy. They're pre-approved. We've got all their documentation, and they're just not finding properties. And so, we're really working closely with a lot of builders and developers and saying, we need inventory. Get cracking on those houses. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and affordable too. The prices are going up, as Dawn indicated in the market update. Mm-hmm. So that's going to be the tricky piece, is the rates are keeping them affordable right now. So the housing prices are going up. The rates are very low. And it's hard to build with the cost of construction now. It's hard to build, very difficult to build a new construction and put it in the affordable category. It's just because of the cost of labor, the cost of land, and everything like that.
Well, and I think, though, too, I think we've even talked to the stats. I can't say that long word, but
Statistics?
thank you. Yeah, I just say the stat show. But a lot of these millennials, they're waiting longer. They're living at home with mom and dad and so forth. So a lot of the pre-approvals we do have, we're seeing is they do have money down. They've worked on paying off their student loans because they're living with mom and dad rent free. So a lot of them are in a really good position to actually.
Sometimes
go to
I wish
that new
I could do
construction
that.
market.
I don't know if I'd be able to put up with it, but the rent-free part is great. And I think Dave Ramsey, I went through his class, as we talked about, he said
Right.
the statistics, single males between 22 and like 35, like 30-some% are living at home, actually. That's a large.
Well, I was going to say, I know a few 40-somethings too that
Well, your dating life is not, we don't need to get into that. But, no, I'm just kidding, Stephanie. I'm just
Well, that's why I'm not dating, because they're still living with their parents. So let's get the facts right here. Right?
Maybe back a little bit to the state of what's happening in the housing industry. I was meeting with some transportation persons that haul cabinets, and they're seeing an increase in the cabinet hauling. So that would oftentimes be for either new development or for
renovations.
Renovations.
Yeah, or apartments. Apartments are going up like mad.
Yeah. Why aren't they putting up condos and townhomes?
They're going to start doing it. I know they're trying. It's just a lot more expensive, I think, and the financing still is a little bit trickier, right, Stephanie? I mean, I know it's probably a lot better than it was maybe 5 years ago or 6 years ago, but because the associations are probably in better condition and they have money
Right.
and all that. But
Yeah, or sometimes, with those new condo projects, it takes a little time to get approvals on them because, sometimes what happened with the existing ones, and again, they're getting better because a lot of associations allowed for rentals and they weren't properly managed. And so now they're over capacity on rentals or delinquent borrowers or things like that. And that can impact. So, on a side note, if you do live in an association, make sure you're going to your board meetings and you know that your association is in check, that they're not over the limit for rentals or, any pending lawsuits or insurance claims or anything like that, because that's going to impact your ability to sell that condo if you're and it's not a Wells Fargo thing. That's a, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac guideline, but
It is. I've actually advised some friends of mine who they have a self-run association, and I advise them to limit the amount of rentals and the amount of contract for deeds, and the board did not listen, and they cannot sell anything in there because I would
Right.
say 90% of the units are rented, and no one can sell them.
Well, and
because they can't get financing.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and it
Or
impacts
get
people to
financing.
refinance also. So they're also kind of shooting themselves in the foot a little bit because they can't even refinance.
Cash people can buy it, but then
Yep.
you're limiting your market and your prices end up going down because I've seen it, seen them go totally defunct or bankrupt even.
Right.
But, so you're listening to the Stockwell Eldridge Show every Sunday, 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. We have Stephanie Havel with Wells Fargo on, and we have Nate Nelson on as well. And we've been, market update is great. So if you're thinking of selling, call us, go to our Facebook page, call us at 651-400-0773. And you can get a free market update on your property. We have people calling us, reaching out that are 4 to 5 years out, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're saying, which I'm not, don't take it, I'm not laughing at them. I'm just saying they're planning ahead. They're actually doing the right thing 4 to 5 years out and saying, hey, if we do these things now, what do you recommend? That's the type of consultation that we like to provide, that we want to do, is plan ahead, whether it's 1 month ahead or 5 years ahead, but you're thinking ahead for yourself, and I think that's wonderful. And that's what we have a meeting next week where we're going out to meet someone who's planning out 4 or 5 years out. So reach out to us, use us as a resource
We actually
for
have 2
that.
meetings.
Where
doing
they're
that.
future,
Yeah.
yeah, where they're way out in the future. So which is great, which is wonderful. So Nate, I want you to take it away for a little bit. Let's say you're listening, or you out there right now have a rental property, or you want to buy a rental property, and you don't want to. What did you say? What was the word you say? Destroy your. You want to actually.
don't want to destroy
grow
your- I guess
you want
your
to
own
grow your
estate,
business.
right?
You want to not destroy it. What's some things that we can talk about, and what's some things that we can give the valuable lessons and tips for people out there?
Well, thank you, Jason. That's a pleasure. Really, as summer begins, we're seeing a flurry of clients seeking to rehab, to rent properties for income and investment. And it really comes down to a combination of resource concentration and risk allocation. By resource concentration, I'm talking about your team of property finders, advisors, co-owners, and lenders. And by risk allocation, I'm talking about your contracts, your leases, your entity structure, and your insurance. If there's a combination where both the risk allocation and the resource concentration is strong, I think that's going to help people get in a better position to protect their assets and hopefully protect their income and appreciation down the road. Our number one choice of vehicle to own real property, traditionally, speaking from like 1994 on, would be a limited liability company. And some persons would own each property that they acquire for investment in a separate LLC. Some will have one LLC that owns all of their properties.
Okay, so we're going to walk through an example. Dawn and I work with investors a lot. We invest. Stephanie, you guys get Wells Fargo. I'm sure you get a ton of investor financing as well for not primary residence. So let's say you own a home. You maybe don't want to be in the stock market as much, and you want to buy a rental property. First thing you need to do is plan ahead for the first step that you said, Nate, which is find people to help you find the property and locate it. If you have it located, wonderful. Say a family member may be selling you a property, or they're moving on and they're selling you or gifting you a property. Who knows? That's great. If you haven't do that, then you got to contact us. You should contact Dawn or myself or our team to help you find a property. But even before that, maybe make sure you can get approved for the property on a mortgage. Whether if you're paying cash, wonderful. You can always call us. We will happily work with you. If you're not paying cash, it's great. You can call us as well. We're happy to work with you. But you should also have your financing in place.
Yeah, we can do it. I mean, if you have several rental properties, we can do a cash out refinance on an investment property to get you cash to buy the next property as well.
And if you're looking for your first one, so it's the first one is always the toughest. It's always the hurdle, you know what I mean? Because you're always it's the most nerve-wracking.
But they make it look so easy on HGTV.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Don't get you started, right?
Or they remodel them in 8 days.
Yeah.
I love seeing that 80 days. 80 days, folks. 80 days is probably more realistic. And their budgets are $20,000 and it's more like $60,000. So just keep that in mind. It's a TV show. And it's not always reality TV,
And you're
even though it is
snippets.
reality TV.
But Jason,
Right.
sometimes that check on reality also may cause people to revisit where they're, how they're thinking to acquire ownership. Are you going to buy it by yourself, or are you going to buy it with a team, or are you going to buy it with other people's money? And there's different rules and different strategies for each case.
And I want to talk about those when we get back. I think that's a great topic as well, about how you get those and who you partner with. So thanks, Nate. And Stephanie will be back. You're listening to the Stockwell Eldridge Show every Sunday, 10 a.m. here on AM 1280 The Patriot. Stay tuned.